For years. That's how long Emily Reynolds had been missing. No trace. No clues. Just an abandoned car, and a family left with nothing but questions. But then, deep in an isolated forest, someone captured her on camera. Barefoot. Dirty. Moving like a puppet with no strings. What followed was a discovery so chilling, it left investigators with more questions than answers. It was late in the afternoon when Alex decided to push deeper into the forest than she normally did. Hiking was her escape, her way to shake off the stress of city life and breathe air that didn't smell like exhaust fumes or fried food. The forest was quiet, unnervingly quiet. Not even the usual chirps of sparrows or the rustle of squirrels in the underbrush filled the air. The deeper Alex went, the heavier the silence seemed to press on her. And then, she saw her. A woman standing among the trees. At first, Alex thought she must be another hiker. But as she got closer, she realized something was terribly wrong. The woman's clothes looked outdated, like something from the early 2000s, faded and torn. She was barefoot, her skin pale and smudged with dirt. Her long brown hair was tangled into wild knots, and her eyes were glazed, unfocused, like she wasn't really there. She walked slowly, her movements stiff, mechanical, as if she were on autopilot. Alex froze. Something about this woman didn't belong. She wasn't just lost, she was displaced. Wrong somehow. "Hey, are you okay?" Alex called out softly. The woman didn't respond. She kept walking in that strange, disconnected way, vanishing deeper into the trees without so much as a glance. A chill rippled through Alex's body. She pulled out her phone and recorded a bit of footage just in case. It felt important, like she had stumbled onto something she wasn't supposed to see. She left the forest shaken. That night, she replayed the video over and over again. The woman's pale, dazed face haunted her, and Alex couldn't get the image out of her mind. The revelation. Days later, the story broke. A man named Carl Reynolds came forward after seeing Alex's footage online. His voice shook as he gave an interview. "That's her. That's my sister. Emily." Emily Reynolds had been missing for 4 years. She'd been only 24 when she vanished without a trace. Her car had been discovered abandoned nearly 20 miles from the very forest where Alex had filmed her. No notes, no signs of foul play, nothing but questions. 4 years, her family had been stuck in limbo, torn between hope and despair. And now, suddenly Alex's eerie footage suggested Emily might still be alive. The news spread quickly. Comment sections exploded with theories, some claiming Emily had been kidnapped, others convinced she was a ghost or hallucination. But Carl didn't care about speculation. For him, one truth mattered. His sister was out there. And she needed to be found. The search and discovery. Authorities launched a renewed search effort. Teams of police officers, volunteers, and even cadaver dogs scoured the dense forest. Helicopters circled overhead, their spotlights sweeping across endless trees and shadowy clearings. But days passed and still, no Emily. Alex couldn't shake the guilt. She had seen Emily and just let her walk away. She kept asking herself, what if she had followed her that day? What if she had pushed a little harder? Haunted by those thoughts, Alex returned to the forest on her own. She retraced every step from the day of the encounter, following the faint path she had walked. And then she saw it. A structure half hidden by the trees. An old, rotting wooden shack. The roof sagged inward, moss crawled up its walls and the windows were shattered. It looked abandoned, forgotten for decades. Alex's heart pounded. Something inside her told her this was important. She pulled out her flashlight, pushed open the creaking door and stepped inside. The rescue. The air inside was stale, thick with the smell of mold and rot. Broken furniture lay scattered across the floor and cobwebs clung to the corners. And then Alex saw her. Emily. She was hunched in a corner, her arms wrapped around her knees, her hair covering her face. Her clothes were filthy, her skin smeared with dirt. Her body looked frail, too thin, like she hadn't eaten properly in weeks. "Emily," Alex whispered. The woman stirred. Slowly she lifted her head. Her eyes, dull, sunken but still alive, locked onto Alex's. Alex's breath caught in her throat. "Oh my God, you're alive." Emily didn't speak. She just stared, trembling like a wild animal afraid of being touched. Alex called emergency services with shaking hands. Within the hour, rescue teams arrived. Emily resisted at first, confused and frightened, but eventually, they carried her out of the shack and into the daylight she hadn't seen in years. The aftermath. Emily was rushed to the hospital. She was severely malnourished, dehydrated, and suffering from infections. The doctors said it was a miracle she was even alive. But the strangest part wasn't her condition, it was her memory. When asked where she had been for the past 4 years, Emily shook her head. She couldn't remember. Her mind was fragmented, broken into scattered pieces. She spoke in short, cryptic phrases. She recalled wandering, hiding, surviving, but never with any clarity. One doctor suggested she had suffered a severe mental breakdown. Emily had a history of depression and anxiety, and the theory was that she had retreated into the wilderness, surviving purely on instinct, her mind shielding her from the trauma of those lost years. But Alex wasn't so sure. There had been no food supplies in the shack. No fresh water. No evidence of recent human habitation. The place looked like it hadn't been touched in decades. And yet, Emily had been there. Alive. The shack. Authorities examined the shack but found nothing of significance. No fingerprints, no tools, no personal belongings. It was as if the place had been abandoned long before Emily ever stepped foot inside. So how had she survived? That question gnawed at Alex, even as Carl held his sister's hand and whispered that none of it mattered anymore. Emily was back. That was all that counted. In the weeks that followed, Emily slowly began her recovery. She put on weight, her color returned, and though her memories didn't, she began to smile again. Carl never left her side. For him it was a miracle. After 4 years of grieving, of unanswered questions, he finally had his sister back. And Alex? She visited only once, standing quietly at the foot of Emily's hospital bed. When Emily looked at her, their eyes met for just a moment. And in that moment, Alex swore she saw something flicker there. Something unspoken. A memory. But Emily quickly looked away, leaving Alex with the unsettling feeling that the story wasn't over. That the forest hadn't just hidden Emily, it had kept her. And one day it might come back to claim her again. Emily Reynolds was found, but the mystery of where she had been for those 4 years remains unsolved. The shack gave no answers, only more questions. Was it her mind that trapped her in the forest? Or was it something darker that didn't want to let her go? If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another chilling tale. Share this video with someone who loves dark mysteries and eerie encounters. And remember, the forest may return what it takes, but it never gives back the whole truth.